up until now, I have just been doing like docs and email and calendar stuff on the MacBook Neo, but it's getting real. We're downloading Adobe. Why do I feel like I'm doing something evil? This is the MacBook Neo. It's the cheapest laptop that Apple has ever sold. This one right here cost me $635. Now that low cost has a lot to do with this. See that processor right there? That's the same processor that's in this, the iPhone 16 Pro. And back when I made a video about mobile gaming, I learned firsthand just how powerful these little chips can be. Which is why when I heard about the Neo, I thought, could that be for me? Okay, the time has come. Opening Premiere for the first time. Okay, importing files definitely takes a little bit longer. Please don't be foreshadowing, please. The 2.7 pounds or 1.23 kilogram MacBook Neo is made from recycled aluminum. It's got a headphone jack and 2 USB-C ports. One is USB 3 and the other is a slower USB 2. And there's a 500 nits, 13-inch liquid retina display that in direct sunlight is, well, bright enough, although a bit reflective. And then there's a 1080p webcam. Plus, if you're willing to spend $100 more, you can get a Touch ID sensor down here on the keyboard, which I didn't do and is one of my big regrets. It's something I have really missed from my M1 MacBook Pro, along with the speakers on my M1 MacBook Pro. For the first few days of my Neo replacement, I was doing the basics. Email, watching shows, writing scripts, stuff that the Neo handled without breaking a sweat. So I stepped it up. A social video. These are typically sub 1 minute edits in Premiere Pro. And you can run them natively here because even though there's a mobile efficient chip inside, it's optimized for macOS. This is huge. For most laptops that are this price, this size, this weight, you're looking at something that is either underpowered or is maybe a Chrome OS device. And that's a lightweight cloud-first OS, meaning that you can't really download desktop apps like Premiere on them natively. Of course, there are workarounds to this, but even if you are able to download maybe Photoshop, you're still gonna run into bottlenecks with your hardware. It's not gonna be able to run the program smoothly. So on those devices for video editing, your best bet is a mobile app like LumaFusion. I actually tried that workflow when I attempted to replace my laptop with a Samsung phone using DeX, but in my experience, those mobile-first apps still aren't fully optimized for a mouse and keyboard desktop experience, the one that I prefer. On the MacBook Neo, however, you have all of the laptop hardware with full macOS, which means that you can download and you can run any Adobe program your wallet can afford. But should you? Hello?
Hi.
How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Oh, good. Just trying to edit a big project on a tiny laptop. More on that after the break. So when I switched over to the MacBook Neo and I began running this experiment, I also switched my browser. I began using Opera Neon. And while yes, they are the sponsor of this video, I really like how the company has managed to integrate AI into a browser in a way that doesn't feel too AI-y. And before you say AI boo, which I get, hear me out. I do use AI from time to time, like I'm terrible at titling and I want to find cheap flights. And with Opera Neon, I have the ability to prompt using multiple different models based on how much or what kind of info I need. So there's chat for quick responses, but then there's Neon Do, which is my current favorite. This allows the agent to work within your browser. Like last week, I had a trip to Vegas. I asked Do to compare the cheapest, quickest flights, while also finding the 5 best hotels within half a mile of the convention center. And it just went off and did that while I worked on the script. And then there are cards. Cards are a way to automate your prompts. Now, I'm horrible at titling and I hate doing it, and so I made a card where all I have to do is select it, then input the video script, and it kicks back all sorts of different titles in multiple different categories like most clickable or something different. Neon also has a Discord community where you can interact with real people, including the developers, and help shape the future of this browser. If you want to check it out, Opera Neon is available for $20 a month. There's a link down in the description and the pinned comment. Now back to the review. Okay, I'm about halfway through the edit. I have like the string out done. I need to add music and graphics and all of that, but so far so good. It's playing everything back, a little bit slower than my M1 might, but it is playing back, which is a great sign. But it wouldn't be long till that was no longer true. Oh, come on. These are Mogart files. They're motion graphic elements like arrows and circles that I use in every video. And as soon as I started placing these, I started to feel some significant drops in playback. Then came captioning. All of these captions are individual text files here, and they brought the Neo to its knees. But even with the slow speeds, I was able to finish my 30-second long video. The 1080p export took a little over a minute. Alright, that took me like twice as long to edit a 30-second video, so I think I'll stick to my Pro. It's not to say you can't edit video on the Neo, just not an experience I want to ever have again. But how about gaming? I mentioned earlier that I made an entire video about gaming on phones, and in that video I was blown away by what a modern phone could handle. I mean, I'm talking hours of intensive gameplay, and the Neo did not disappoint either. I mean, it is a modern phone after all. So I downloaded Stranding for Mac. This is a native game, meaning that it is not running off a more powerful machine over the cloud somewhere else. And I paired the Neo with an M-Con controller via Bluetooth, and after waiting for all 77 gigs of this game to download, which took a massive bite out of my base 256 gig drive, this is gonna put us very close to having absolutely no storage left, but I jumped right in, and I cranked those display settings as high as I could. Everything ran really smoothly. The only downside here is that if you want the absolute best looking version of this game, which it is a beautiful game, this is not it. And that's due to the hardware. The Neo's display is small at 13 inches, and it's capped at 2.5K, with a maximum refresh rate of 60 Hz. And while you can patch it into an external monitor, your external output is capped at 4K 60 Hz. And due to the fact that the Neo is entirely fanless, the game isn't likely to run at peak speeds during marathon sessions either, which will lead to drop frames, like you see here. That being said, after about 45 minutes of gaming, a little warm right there, but otherwise, not bad for no fans. It's impressive, and a great reminder that the phone in your pocket can probably do a lot of this too. So that's been my experience with performance, but how does this thing feel? First and foremost, the size of this laptop is perfect for single window users. But for anything more than that, say your desktop looks like this, you're gonna want an external monitor. Battery life, it's solid. I was easily traveling with this bad boy, working on 5-hour plus plane rides, and I never worried about the battery. The weight, it's great. You won't feel this laptop in your bag like you would with a Pro model. But ports are not so great on this thing. Having one of these USB-C ports being a slower USB 2 means that you're gonna have some trouble when you go to plug some things in. Because accessories like a high-speed SSD or an external monitor, they need that faster port. So if you want to use more than one of those things that need the faster port, you're forced to use a dongle. And if that dongle is without its own power supply, you'll most likely need to plug an external power into it. For example, I plugged in a hub with my monitor patched into the HDMI port, but the second I plugged in a simple SD card reader, the monitor cut out entirely. The port just can't push enough juice to drive a display and read data at the same time. You might also run into issues if you have an SSD plugged in and you also want to transfer images from a camera. It's going to be a lot slower. Or say you have a monitor plugged in, but you also want a 4K webcam plugged in. But for most folks buying this laptop, like students, you probably won't notice that stuff. And I actually think you'll be pretty damn impressed with what this little reasonably priced machine can do. Alright, if you made it this far and you're still interested in buying a Neo, well, as much as I love buying new tech, it's worth looking at used and refurbished Macs as well. A computer I would consider, if you're considering a Neo, is an M1 MacBook Pro. That's the chip that I'm editing this entire video on. It's the chip that I daily drive, and it is incredibly powerful. Plus, that computer has better speakers, a better display, and way more ports. But of course, a Pro is a lot heavier, so if you don't need that much power and you want something a little bit lighter, how about an M2 Air? It costs less money and features faster ports, plus a dedicated MagSafe charging port. And you get Touch ID without having to pay a premium upgrade fee. Although there is one place the Neo does reign supreme, and that's its color choices. I mean, nothing can touch these options. Alright, I'm Becca, and yeah, the MacBook Neo is not replacing my Pro model anytime soon, but it is incredibly impressive, and if you're impressed with what this can do, I dare you to put your phone to that test, because I think you'll be pretty surprised at what that thing can do too. Let me know what you think of the Neo down in the comments. As always, I appreciate the hell out of you, and I'll see you on the next one.